Welcome back, guys. So, we have covered almost every array method, right? Not every, we have covered most of the array methods, but there are still few methods which we haven't talked about yet, right? Which is sort and to sorted. So, in this lecture, let's just quickly see what is sort and to sorted, how they work, and where we can use them. Okay, so let's get into it. Okay, so for sorting, let's just create an array quickly. Let's create an array of names first, okay? Because this way only I can show you like how this works. Okay, so let's add few names, Raunak, and then Sam, and then Ajay. Let's add Viraj, Mike. Yeah, okay, so we have few names here, right? So in order to sort them, all we need to do is we just need to call the sort method in it, okay, like so. Now I think I need to reload it. Yeah, now as you can see, our array is nicely sorted, right? AJ, Mike, Ronak, Sam, and Viraj. So this is how sorting works in the array of strings. Okay, so now let's just see quickly how sorting works in the array of numbers. Okay, num array, and then I'll add few numbers. Let's start with minus 400, 455, and then 2, then minus 89, then 23, and then minus 200, and then minus 150, and then 150, and then 200. Okay, so just have a close look like how sorting works for this one. Okay, because here I have to tell you something about sorting. Yeah, so if you see, if you have a close look, it is not accurately sorted, right? If you can see, like minus 150 is there, and then minus 200 is there, and then right after minus 200, minus 455 is there. Okay, so if you see this one, it looks like it is sorted in the descending order, right? And then here is minus 89 again, which is greater than minus 145, but this minus 145 is smaller than minus 200, right? So this is not properly sorted. So what is the reason behind it? Why the numbers are not sorted properly if we try to use the sort method in them? So the answer is hidden behind the strings array. So what sort method does, it converts all the values into the strings, okay? And then it sorts them based on the strings. So if you see, we have passed the strings directly, okay? So that is why those strings got sorted properly. So now let's look it in the way like let's consider them as a string. Then let's see whether these are sorted in terms of strings or not. Okay. So as I said, like these numbers will get converted into strings, then it will get sorted. Okay. So now let's have a look. So let's consider this as a string. So minus will be the first one, and then we have 1, then 2, and then 4, and then 8. Okay. So this way, in terms of strings, these four numbers are sorted, right? Now let's have a look at these four numbers. So it is starting with 1, and then 2, and then 200, and then 23. So these are also sorted because it is considering them as a strings, and it is sorting them like strings. Okay. So if you want to sort them according to your customized logic, so what you can do, you can basically pass a callback function. Okay. So before doing that, let's just have a look at the nums array, because you have to keep in mind like sort method manipulates your original array. Okay, so if I have a close look at this num array, then as you can see, this original array also got changed. Okay, so you need to be very careful whenever you are using the sort method in any of your array, right? Because it will manipulate your original array. Okay, so now let's just write some customized logic, or we can pass a callback function in order to sort this array of numbers properly. Okay, so for that, let me just quickly copy this and let's just paste it here. Let's comment this one. Okay, and let's just pass a callback function, and we will say A and B. Okay, and I'll explain you why I named them as A and B in a minute. Okay, so right now we just have to focus on the logical part. Okay, so what we need to write is the question here. Okay, so if we want to get the ascending order, let's write the logic for the ascending order first. Ascending order. Okay, if you want to get the array in ascending order, that means it should start from the smallest number and should end with the largest number. So for that, what you need to do is you need to write few conditions, like if A is smaller than B, okay, then return 1. Okay, if A is greater than B, then return -1. Okay, now if you log this array here, okay, so it got sorted in the descending order. That means we have to write -1 here and then 1 here. Okay, so now let's just quickly see num array. Okay, so now it got sorted properly in ascending order. Okay, so what is happening here? So let's start with the A and B. So what are these A and B? So consider you have an array of elements, okay, where you just have to pick two consecutive numbers. Okay, so we will pick those two consecutive numbers and we will name them as A and B. So let's pick these two numbers. Okay, these two, -455 and -200. Okay, and we will name this one as A and this one as B. And what we will do, we will check if A is smaller than B, then place it in the first place, and B, if it is greater than A, then place it in the second place. Okay, if we want to sort it in the ascending order, and if we want to sort it in the descending order, what we will do, we will check if A is greater than B, or -455 is greater than -200, then place it in the first place, in the first index. Else it paste it in the store it in the second index. Okay, and this thing will continue in every iteration. Okay, so first the sort method will loop through these two elements. Okay, it will pick this as A and B, it will verify our condition, and then it will switch the elements. Okay, and then it moves on to the next pair of numbers. It checks our condition, like based on our condition, whether we have to switch their places or not. And if the condition satisfies, then it will switch the places, and then it will move on to the next pair of numbers. Okay, so this way it will iterate through all the elements and it will sort the array. Okay, so now what does this -1 and 1 means here? Okay, so -1 simply means we are checking the condition, like if this condition satisfies, then don't switch their places. Don't places of the elements. Okay, and the second line works just in vice versa fashion. Okay, so it will be like if the condition satisfies, then switch the places of the elements. Okay, so it will be like if we are checking like A is greater than B, so let's take these two. If this one is greater than this one, um, then we have to switch their places. Okay, if we are checking in the ascending order. Okay, so it will be like this. Okay, so right now it is, this one is smaller and this one is bigger, so it won't change, right? So here A is smaller than B, then their position will be as is. Okay, but let's move on to the next line. Here A is greater than B. Okay, so now it will go inside this if condition. Okay, and here we are returning 1, which means we have to switch their places. Okay, because this one is satisfying the condition where A is greater than B, right? We are considering this one as a B, so B is smaller than A, so it will get switched like this. Like minus 89 will get stored here, and then B, which is 2, will get stored here like this. Okay, and this way it will keep on iterating through the elements, and it will check our conditions, and it will switch them or do not change their positions as per our logics. Okay, so this is how sort method works internally. Okay, so yeah, let's check quickly for the descending order. Okay, I think we have seen already accidentally, but now let's see on purpose. Okay, descending order. So in this one, what we have to do, I'll just quickly comment this one out. And we simply have to check if A is smaller than B, then switch their places. Okay, if A is smaller than B, that means if the first element is smaller than the second element, then place the larger element, like the second element, in the first position and smaller element in the second position. Okay, and here we will do the reverse of it. Okay, if the element is smaller than, if the element is bigger than second element, then do not switch their positions. Okay, so now if we check the num array, we will get the array in the descending order. Okay, and this is how we are getting it. And if you notice, now the sorting logic is working perfectly fine, right? So it is not considering them as a strings because of the logic which we have wrote here inside the callback function. Okay, so this is how we sort the array basically, and this is all like which we have to learn about sorting in the arrays, right? Because there are countless sorting algorithms which we can use to sort the arrays. But in this section, we are only learning about the array methods, right? So those sorting algorithms and all those stuffs are out of the scope of this section. So we will be purely focusing on the sort method or the array methods. Okay. So now if you have a close look, like we are writing some if else conditions, right? If you think about it, here we are returning 1. Okay. That means if the A is smaller than B, okay, if the A is greater than B, sorry, if the A is smaller than B, then what we have to do, let's think like if we are subtracting A from B, okay. So here, according to this condition, we will be subtracting B from A. So it will be like B minus A, where B is the bigger element and then A is a smaller element. So it will always return something positive, right? And if you check this one, like if you subtract A from B, B from A, which will be like this. So here, according to this logic, we have A as a smaller number. Okay. And, oh, sorry, A as a bigger number and then B as a smaller number. Okay. So now, if you subtract a smaller number from the bigger number, then what will happen? It will return something negative. Okay. So why don't we just like write this thing, instead of writing these if else, let's write b minus a. Okay, we can do that, right? So b minus a, according to these conditions, will return something positive. And if we are returning something positive, that means we are switching the places of those two elements. Okay, and if it returns some negative value, then we are not going to switch the places of those two elements. Okay, so let me just comment it quickly for your reference, and let me quickly replace the logic with this one. Okay, so here, to clean up this code, what I'll do, I'll just remove this braces and then I'll just cut it, and this is all we have to do. And we don't need any return statement here, right? Return keyword, because we're using arrow functions and it is just a single line of code. So we don't need any curly braces and return keyword as well. Okay, so let's have a look at the array quickly. Okay, so it is nicely sorted in the descending order, right? So the same thing we can do in the ascending order, right? So for that, let me just quickly write it here. It will be a minus b. Okay, because we want to store the numbers from the smaller to higher. Okay, and let me comment it for a while, because it will again manipulate the original array. Okay, so now our numbers are sorted in the ascending order, from the smaller number to the bigger number. Okay, so now so this is the sorting method which manipulates the original array. But what if you don't want to manipulate the original array? You don't want to change the original array, but still you want to apply the sorting logic. How you can do that? So for that, in JavaScript before ES 2023, we used to do some sort of workaround. We used to use slice method, sorry. Okay, so as you know by now, like, slice method creates a copy of an array and then it returns a new array so that we can store it in the new variable. Num array copy. Okay, and here if you write this logic and if we try to log this variable, here you will see in the num array copy we are getting the array in the ascending order. But if you check the num array, okay, so the sorting logic is already applied here. Let's just quickly comment this one. Yeah, now if we try to log the num array, so it is still unsorted, right? It is still in the original form. Okay, that means the num array remained unchanged and we have successfully applied sorting logic as well. Okay, and we cannot use spread operator because it is in the middle of the chain, right? See, we have used the array and then we have used slice method we have used the slice method, and then right after slice method we have used sorting method, right? So it is forming a chain, so we cannot add a spread operator in between in order to create a copy of it, right? If you want, you can do so, but it will look a little bit ugly, right? So yeah, so this is all about sorting the arrays with the help of sort method. Okay, so as you can see, there is a little problem, like we have to use two methods in order to create a copy of the sorted array, right? In order to make it unchanged, and in order to sort the array and store it in a new variable or create a copy of it. But in ES 2023, like, JavaScript introduced a new method which is called toSorted. Okay, so what it will do the job of these two methods. Okay, and let me show you what I mean by that. Okay, I'll use num array and then I'll use toSorted. Since it is a very new feature which was introduced in JavaScript, so it won't work, I think, like the older browsers. Okay, so that you have to check. Let num array copy 2, and then we can pass the same callback function here as well. Okay, I'm not sure whether it will work in this browser or not, but let's just see. Let's just have a look. Okay, so now this num array copy 2 is also working fine, right? That means it is supporting in my browser happily. Yeah, and our array got sorted. Now if I check the num array, it will be still remain unchanged. Okay, so this is the original array which we are getting, and this is the array which we have sorted with the help of toSorted method. So if you use toSorted, then it will return a new array. Okay, will return the new sorted array. Okay, original array will remain unchanged. Okay, so this is the basic difference between the toSorted and the sorted, right? Will return, it will not actually return any array, it will sort the original array. Okay, okay, so these are the basic difference between the sort method and toSorted method. You can use it according to your requirements. So if you want to manipulate the original array itself, if you want to sort the original array itself, then you can go ahead with the sort method. But if you don't want to touch your original array, but still you want to sort it, you can go ahead and use the toSorted method. Okay, so this is it for this lecture, guys. See you in the next one.